In this video, you'll learn the easiest and one of the strongest chess openings ever, the London system. By the end of this video, you'll be prepared to face any move, setup, or opening as white. And don't think that to be better at chess you need to deeply study the openings you want to play, because even computer evaluates this phrase as a loss for white. Instead, you will learn the perfect setup and never spend much time worrying about the opening phase, but more time practicing and refining your middle game tactics. Watch till the end to learn strategic game plans and advanced tips to master the opening. London system is a system. This means that you want to place your pieces on specific squares in a certain order. So, to achieve the perfect setup in the London system, follow these steps. d4, gain space in the center. Bishop f4, activate your dark squared bishop. e3, defend the d4 pawn and open a path for the light squared bishop. Knight f3, develop your knight. Knight d2, develop the other knight. Pawn c3, complete the pawn pyramid structure. The pawn pyramid is important, because it creates a solid and resilient structure that supports your central and queenside pieces. It helps to control key squares and provides a strong defensive setup against various black responses. Bishop d3, finalize minor piece development. Now, all your minor pieces are active and you have a well-protected pawn in the center. But there are some exceptions, tricks and advices you need to know. There's going to be 10 of them, but I think they are easy to remember, especially if you repeat them over time. If black pushes c4, attacking your bishop on d3, simply move your bishop back one square, because we need to maintain control over this important for us diagonal. This retreat keeps your bishop active and avoids unnecessary exchanges. If the opponent plays bishop d6, offering you a trade of dark squared bishops, slide your bishop back one square. Because if they will take your bishop, you will open up the rook file and strengthen the attack. Develop your b2 knight before completing the pawn pyramid, because if they play queen b6, you'll be in trouble. Be cautious about moves like queen e7, as it allows black to play e5. Control the e5 square to prevent this push. If black plays queen b6 to attack the b2 pawn, handle it tactically with knight c3. Taking on b2 can be dangerous for black due to knight d5 and knight c7 threat. Sometimes you can play early knight c3, especially against tricky openings like Dutch defense. Against systems with early light squared bishop movement, switch to a queen's gambit with c4, knight c3, and queen b3 moves. Against king's Indian defense play knight c3, e4, bishop d3, f4, and long castle for a strong attack. Look for opportunities to play h4 in the middle game, because this move defends you from A and B pawn pushes. And I will tell you the last most important tip at the very end of the video. So watch until the end to not miss this. Now let's talk about your middle game plan. In the London system, it is super important to fight for the center, and more precisely, for the e5 square. This is why all your pieces aim for this sweet spot. And I recommend you to put your knight there, because it will be very active there. And if your opponent will take your knight, you will start your massive attack on the king. Most of the games your attack will be on the king side. Sometimes even with the stone wall ideas. Now, let's dive into one exciting chess game to consolidate our knowledge about the London system. This game has brilliant sacrifices and unexpected twists and was played by the 16th world chess champion Magnus Carlsen. But wait a second. If you watched up to this moment, that means that you enjoyed this video and it's the perfect time to press the like button and subscribe to the channel, and you can suggest the next video ideas in the comments. But let's get back to the game. Magnus starts the game with d4. Yang Yi responds with knight to f6. Magnus develops his bishop, and Yang Yi places his pawn in the center. Both players defend their central pawns. But Magnus already developed his bishop, while opponent's bishop is stuck now. Magnus develops his knight, and Yang Yi plays a6 to prevent Magnus from playing bishop to b5. Magnus doesn't care and develops his bishop to d3. Although I mentioned earlier in this video that you should develop your light squared bishop last, Magnus's sequence doesn't change things much. Magnus completes the pawn pyramid structure, and black develops his bishop. Remember, we are not trading dark squared bishops in this position, but moving our bishop back. Black develops their knight. White finishes their minor piece development, and after black's next move, white can launch an attack. Black castles and white places their knight right in the center. Black does not take the knight, but many of your opponents will. Quick advice: in the London system, there are many setups where you play the stone wall setup with moves like f4, queen to f3 and queen to h3. White castles, and black pushes the b-pawn one square with the idea of positioning their inactive bishop on b7 in the future. Black understands that this diagonal is important for white, so they move their knight from c6 to f5 to block our bishop's view. Both sides play some waiting moves. Black finally develops their light-squared bishop on move 13. a4, at first sight, this move looks bad, but it's really important because it prevents black from playing b5. In Grandmasters games you will see this move a lot, especially when both players are castled on the king side. White controls the e4 square to prevent the penetration of black's knights. Both sides are playing passively right now, preparing for the future battle. White pushes the g-pawn, and now these two pawns are going to move towards the enemy king no matter what. The queen is now in the game. The f-pawn advances. The rook joins the action. Black takes the d-pawn, but remember, whenever black takes the d-pawn, always recapture with the e-pawn. The g-pawn moves forward. A pawn trade. It looks like a free pawn, but actually it's not. If black takes the pawn, we take their knight, and when they recapture, we win their bishop. This is because black's queen is overloaded and can't defend both pieces simultaneously. A simple knight trade. Black attacks our bishop, but white defends with a knight. If we move our bishop, we will lose the b-pawn. Black takes our bishop, and white recaptures with the rook. Yu Yangyi attacks the rook, so Magnus slides his rook back, and black pushes the g-pawn to move the king and bring the rook into the game, but it's too late. Magnus starts to push the h-pawn. Now, pause the video for a minute and try to find the best move for white. The correct move is to sacrifice the rook. If you don't understand why this is a brilliant move and not a blunder, wait a couple of moves and you will see. After black accepts the sacrifice, the queen takes back, and Magnus's queen is very active. It threatens to take the bishop and to checkmate the king in a few moves. Black is forced to defend the king and give up the bishop. Magnus takes the bishop, and Yangyi tries to attack the queen. But Magnus moves the queen back and offers a trade. Black accepts and Magnus converts this game to the endgame by checking the king and then attacking the bishop. Black's position is very bad, the bishop is hanging, the rook is hanging, and the g-pawn is also hanging. In this position, black still tries to do something. But at move 42, Yu Yangyi resigns. In this game, Magnus has won the fight for the center and won the game. I would recommend you to hear what he said in the interview. Can you tell us how did you won the battle with Yu Yangyi? Well, actually, I played there using the London system and would not have won if it weren't for Mark Pi and his video about the London system. If you want to progress in chess, subscribe to Mark Pi now. He makes amazing videos every week. No, I am really serious. Subscribe right now or I will find you and use a brilliant move on you.